What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another video. I'm Michigan Sports Talk here, and in this one we got some big recruiting news on a top 100 defensive lineman as the Wolverines look to add on to their elite defensive line class. We also give an update on safety recruiting as the Wolverines going after a couple of flip targets now, and we give an update on the top 100 athlete Salesi Moa. Michigan still in the mix with a decision nearing, and we also talk about Michigan's potential elite in-state 2027 recruiting class and beyond as they look to keep the elite talent in the state of Michigan. And Sherrone Moore also talks about a couple of young future stars on the defensive side of the ball that he is looking forward to watching this upcoming season. It's all going to be in this video and more, so let's go ahead and get right into it. Alright, so before we do go ahead and get right into it here, I do want to first give a shout out to our channel members. Thank you guys all so much. I appreciate you guys for supporting the channel, and obviously all of you guys who are subscribed, comment on the videos, and also drops a like. I appreciate everyone. But let's go ahead and get right into it here. I first wanted to start by talking about some recruiting news here for the Wolverines. And first, on the defensive line, yes, Michigan still not done yet. They have put together already one of the best defensive line classes and have 6 current commitments on the defensive line, but they are still going after the 2026 4-star top 100 defensive lineman Deuce Gerald's from the state of Georgia, and he is ranked 73rd nationally on 24/7 Sports Composite Rankings. Did recently drop a final 5 yesterday, consisting of LSU, Michigan, Ohio State, Ole Miss, and Oregon, and will be announcing his decision on August 2nd. And again, despite Michigan having 6 defensive line commits already, they definitely will be pushing for Gerald's, as he is too good to pass up on. And right now it seems that Oregon and Michigan, it could be at the top right now. They're both giving him a lot to think about. Right now Oregon seems to have the edge, but with an August 2nd commitment date, that gives Michigan a lot of time. And hey, why not join this elite defensive line class? I mean, what defensive line coach Lou Esposito has been able to do here in the 2026 recruiting class is absolutely incredible. And if he lands Deuce Gerald's, this will be by far the best defensive line class. But speaking on Michigan, according to Chad Simmons of On3, Deuce Gerald said that they developed defensive linemen there. Coach Esposito is a great coach. He feels I am a plug-and-play guy there, and I have a great connection with Coach Sherrone Moore. And also, life after football is great there too with their alumni program. So he's down to 5 schools, and Michigan definitely in contention here with an August 2nd decision approaching. And Michigan is also in a recruiting battle with Oregon for one of the top cornerback targets in the 2026 recruiting class, and that is Devon Benjamin, as Michigan remains a top contender in his recruitment with also an August 2nd decision for him, as the Wolverines currently pushing for a top 5 recruiting class here. And then one target we have talked about recently is a flip target and a safety defensive back, the 4-star James Dunnigan, who is currently committed to Kansas, as E.G. Holland of On3 and the Wolverine reported that, as that could be a potential flip target for the Wolverines at the safety position. And we'll see if Michigan does ramp it up a bit and starts to push for him. But Michigan also still seems to be in play for the 4-star safety Jordan Deck, who did commit to Baylor last month, which was kind of a surprise for Michigan, as they thought to have the edge, but then Baylor swooped in and really did a great job keeping him in the state of Texas. But according to E.G. Holland of On3 and the Wolverine, he said that Deck is still considering Michigan despite having committed to Baylor. So potentially Michigan could flip Jordan Deck. It will be tough though to flip him from the home state school out of Baylor. And then keeping it on defensive backs, Michigan is still going after Salesi Moa, who is a 2026 4-star top 100 athlete, plays on both sides as a receiver and a defensive back. As Michigan is in his top group, a decision does seem to be nearing here for him. And along with Michigan, Michigan State, Tennessee, Utah, and Washington. Right now, Utah seems to be the team to beat. Now, one thing that is a big factor, it seems, in his recruitment is that he wants to play both sides of the field, but he did tell E.G. Holland of On3 and the Wolverine about his official visit that, he just loved it all, loved the coaches, it was really good, and he said they're one of the top schools on my list, and he said that Coach Moore is like a friend to me, we have a great relationship, and he said if I wanted to be developed into an NFL player to come to Michigan, and he did say, that he does like playing receiver more, but I know Michigan develops safeties for the NFL, so I would want to play defense at Michigan. And he did say Michigan did talk to him a little bit about offense and about returning kicks and punts. So I'm sure Michigan is giving him, some things to think about. And he did say basically that, if he was going to play defense at college, he would want to go to Michigan. And then while we're talking about recruiting, I wanted to talk about the 2027 class and beyond for Michigan in the state of Michigan, because the 2027 class has a lot of top rated Midwest players, including in the state of Michigan. And while Michigan's streak of signing at least one in-state recruit every year since at least 1999 might come to an end in the 2026 cycle, Sherrone Moore and company plans to keep the saying, the best in Michigan stay in Michigan, especially when they recruit in the 2027 recruiting class. And it starts with the top wide receiver Dakota Garant, the 5-star receiver from Harper Woods, Michigan. They absolutely have got to keep him in the state of Michigan, and they will be fighting off teams like Oregon and Ohio State, who he is also high on. But his coach, Rod Oden, is the father of current Michigan defensive back Jacob Oden, so there are ties there, and receivers coach Ron Bellamy is making him a top priority. And according to Ethan McDowell of On3 and the Wolverine, along with Ron Bellamy, who has connections in the state of Michigan, Michigan also has Kaylee Johnson, who plays a big role in Michigan's in-state relationship. She's the former Michigan star Will Johnson's sister, as she joined the staff last year. And Michigan is also looking to keep, talented recruits like the tight end Anthony Cartwright, offensive tackle Jameer Henry, athlete Daryl Flemister, wide receiver Trey Britton, and also wide receiver Chad Willis in the state of Michigan. And Michigan is also going after the elite 2028 quarterback Donald Tabron, who goes to Cass Tech and could be another Bryce Underwood type player for the Wolverines, keeping him in the state of Michigan. So a lot of talent in the state of Michigan here for the 2027 class and beyond that the Wolverines will be looking to keep in the state of Michigan. But I also wanted to talk about a little bit more of what Sherrone Moore said to the Michigan Insider, according to Alejandro Zuniga, and he talked about the linebacker room. Obviously, Ernest Hausman, Jashawn Barham going to be stars for Michigan's defense next season, along with Jimmy Rolder, who he considers as a third starter. And as long as he can stay healthy, he is going to be a very good player for Michigan's defense this upcoming season. But then he also said a guy that not a lot of people are talking about is Cole Sullivan. He is an absolute freak show, a 6'5", 240 something pounds, and he moves like he's 210, long, physical, and he's a linebacker. If he walked in the room, you'd think he's an edge. And that is one young player who is going to be an absolute star for the Michigan defense in the future. And Sherrone Moore also spoke highly on defensive back Zeke Berry, a versatile defensive back. I mean, they even had to put him over at cornerback last season as the injuries were piling up, and he absolutely held his own. Kind of had a rough start against Oregon, but I mean, who wouldn't? But then in the games against Indiana, Northwestern, Ohio State, and against Alabama, he really came into his own as a cornerback, and he's a guy they can put wherever as a safety, as a cornerback. And then another guy who is like that is Mason Curtis, a 6'5" safety, but Sherrone Moore is also excited to watch Brandon Hillman, and then a new guy like the transfer from Arkansas, TJ Metcalf. So that's a little bit more of what Sherrone Moore said to the Michigan Insider, according to Alejandro Zuniga. But with that, that's going to wrap up this video. Hope you guys did enjoy. If you did, make sure to go ahead, drop a like, comment down below, and subscribe for more. If you are new around here, I greatly appreciate it. And we will see you guys in the next video. Go Blue.